Hey everyone, welcome back to Mallard Matinee. Today we are talking about Stranger Than Fiction, the Will Ferrell movie from 2006.
Six.
From the 2000s.
2006.
Cue the music. So, as I said, we are talking about Stranger Than Fiction, a hard to define movie. We'll get into that in a bit. But yeah,
Quite strange.
if you've been with us for our previous episode, you might know that we already do movies. We just talk about some of our favorite movies here in this channel, favorites and just different weird ones, I guess. Like
Maybe
unique.
movies we'll see for the first time. We want to have a discussion, so that's what we're here for, to just talk about movies.
And this is a film that the both of us were familiar with, we'd seen before. But you should get to know who we are, and if you want to introduce yourself.
I am CountryBoy, and I've been a fan of Will Ferrell for a long time, ever since the SNL days, and this was no different. It's a movie that I've seen a bunch of times. Am I talking about my first?
Oh, we'll do that after.
Okay, yeah. So I'm CountryBoy. That's me.
And I'm LewisLightning. But yeah, same thing with CountryBoy. I've known Will Ferrell for a long time. His work. I've known Will Ferrell's work since his days on Saturday Night Live. That's where I was first introduced to him. But what was your first introduction to this movie?
I remember when I went to go see Talladega Nights, there was a trailer for this movie when I went to go see that movie. And I was thinking, wow, this looks like a different type of Will Ferrell movie. I wouldn't mind seeing this. I want to see maybe a different side of him. And so I can't remember if I actually saw it in theaters or if I rented it when it came out. It wasn't very long after it either came out on video or maybe I saw it in theaters. I can't remember. But I remember enjoying it. I remember thinking it was a fun movie. It was interesting and it felt intelligent at the same time. It was a good movie, and I'm glad that I got to rewatch it again.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see this in theaters. I believe I first got the hold of it, first knew about it, just flipping through random trailers on YouTube or something, and I saw this one brought up. I'm like, Will Ferrell, and he's not just a loud shouting guy doing his, cliche stuff that we all kind of associate with him.
Yeah.
And it's saying it was more serious. There's down to earth in a way. It's not.
He's a grounded character.
He's not like a 70s news anchor who's having sword fights in the parking lot with a bunch. It's realistic in that way. That's what I mean.
Regular Joe, basically.
But yeah, and I saw it there, and I was like, okay, well, I think I got it on maybe I don't know if I got it on streaming or if I rented it. I think it was still a rental at that time that I rented it. I was like, wow, I really like this movie, and I ended up buying it. Actually, I have 2 copies. Ugh. For some reason, one here and another one there. So, liked it a lot.
Likes it that much. Didn't even know you had it, and you bought it again.
So yeah, we'll go over some of the actors in it. Obviously, Will Ferrell. You can.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I went to see Talladega Nights, and I thought Talladega Nights was hilarious, and I'm used to those types of movies with Will Ferrell. And so when I saw this movie, and he was a lot more of a reserved, kind of down to earth, kind of prim and proper character, much quieter, not a Will Ferrell type at all. It showed that he has some range. I mean, this shows that Will Ferrell has more acting ability rather than just being the loud mouth, funny guy, all over the place, improv. This guy can actually take a script and do a good job of acting. There was some emotionality in this character as well too. There's some he does some tears at one point because, spoiler alert, the idea is that he hears a voice in his head that's narrating everything that he's doing in his life, and at one point it tells him that he's gonna die. Why? And so he doesn't want to die, obviously. So at one point he gets emotional, and you see the emotionality in him. And I think he did a really great job of being this funny character, but he wasn't larger than life. He was this guy who was prim and proper. Everything was all perfectly in its place. He counted how many breaststrokes he does, and he counts everything. He counts everything. He's basically ADHD. Probably ADHD, I'm pretty sure. He's got that deficit disorder.
I agree. It's not the Will Ferrell you're probably going to go into expecting that you've seen from everything else. And to me, the way I kind of thought his performance was more like a midlife crisis guy. At some point, we have people in our lives that this guy just went nuts and he just bought a boat and did something crazy. And that's he didn't ruin his life because he didn't really have a life to ruin.
Yeah, it was nothing going on in his life other than his job.
He goes and buys a guitar. He like does things he doesn't usually do, I guess is the whole point. He puts himself out there because he just thinks like, this is if I'm going to die, I got to start living my life. So he does things out of the way. I'm just going to go off the cover of the DVD, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I like Maggie Gyllenhaal as well too. And I'd only seen her in a couple things at this point. I saw her in, actually no, she wasn't even in Batman yet, so I didn't really know her that much. What did I see her? I maybe seen her in one more thing before this. And I didn't really have much of an opinion, but seeing her in this, I liked her as the baker lady who had her own store, and she was kind of against the man. She doesn't want to pay her taxes because she doesn't want her money going to like all the government things that she doesn't support.
Get bent, tax man!
So I liked that because she was kind of bucking against his character who works for the IRS, and he's there to check her books and audit her, and so she's almost like not the opposite of him, but she's definitely against him at the very beginning.
Yeah.
They're not really they're not friends, but he obviously has an infatuation with her right away because he's noticing her, and he's even hearing the voices in his head saying that he's noticing her, so he's not noticing her even more.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny in that way.
He couldn't help but imagine Ms. Pascal stroking the side of his face with the soft blade of her finger.
But yeah, I think she did a great job as her character. Yeah.
Same with you, that I was not really familiar with her. I don't know if I'd seen her at all at that point. Like, I know one of the first things I knew her from was The Dark Knight, which is obviously after this.
Yeah.
And I think I watched this movie after that, so it wasn't like, it was a while before I actually got this movie since it came out. But like, I liked her character a lot in it. I will say, like, I find, like, not to be mean or anything, but like, Maggie Gyllenhaal is not who I would think of as like a conventionally attractive person, but the personality that came through here was like, she's attractive in that way. Like, I was like, this is the kind of person that I would like to see in me. Yeah. Like, I liked her in that way. So I really liked her role there. Like, she played that kind of character that was like an artist against the grain. They use the word anarchist kind of jokingly in the movie.
Yeah.
She's not really that, but like, she'll just do what she thinks is right, screw everyone else.
Yeah. She did a fantastic job in that role, and it was a believable character. Like, it wasn't like an overly done character. His character is maybe a little cartoony in how prim and proper he is, but he's still believable as well too. Her, I'd say she was like probably the most realistic, at least out of the two of them. She's probably more realistic.
Yeah. I'm going to jump over on this cast list we got on there to Emma Thompson, which I think is like the next.
Yeah.
Maybe even the second most important, but...
Yeah, probably the second most important after Will Ferrell's character, because she narrates the movie, or at least she narrates his life, for the most part anyways. Then when things take a turn, he starts changing things. She's not narrating that side of things because it doesn't fit with the book, I guess. But she's narrating, his whole story, and all of a sudden, the whole premise of this is that he's able to hear what she's narrating, and he's like, what's going on? And he looks like a crazy man. He's like, did you guys hear that voice? Did you hear that? It's just in his head. And Emma Thompson is the perfect voice for that. She's got that British, that perfect female British voice. I think she does it great, and she's kind of funny in her own right as well too. Yeah. Like, she's always imagining different deaths, because as she does in her book, she kills everybody off. She's always imagining different deaths throughout the movie, and she's always trying to light up a different smoke throughout the movie. And it's, Emma Thompson, just great. I love her as an actress, and I think she was great in this movie. Yeah,
I agree. Her role here, she's like very well-spoken person, but she's like, the author who's also very eccentric. So like you said, she has to imagine things, but she has to be like really visceral, like there to see it, to do it. She goes to a hospital to see people that are dying, and she gets disappointed when it's like, a gunshot wound that's non-fatal or something. She wants to see the
just sick people
that aren't going to make it. She specifically says, but like her other, and like she's trying to imagine someone jumping off a building, so she stands on the edge of her desk and she kind of like imagines feeling the wind with her hand and all this stuff.
Yeah,
very visual. But then she got the just the weird things she does, like she smokes cigarettes, but she spits into a Kleenex and she puts them into the Kleenex. Like, I don't know if she's going to go back to them or not, because they're still like 3/4 long, like of what they were. and she just has a whole napkin full of these things. Or like later on in the film, she's talking to one of the professor character we'll talk about soon, but she like has no shoes on in his office, and she's like reaching down, like touching the floor in a sitting position. Just like it's an eccentric person.
Eccentric. A fun fact that I read too about her is that she didn't wear any makeup for this movie as well. Like she looks like someone that has been thinking. She's obviously been working on this book for ages because she can't think of
stressed and stumped and all that's going on.
Writer's block. And
I didn't know about the makeup thing, but that obviously that's what I was seeing when I was watching it. So then I think Dustin Hoffman is the next most notable character that we have left to talk about. I'll take this one for starters. But he is, I mean, I like his character, but he's exactly what you think of a kind of a professor who's really intelligent. He is approachable. I'll give him that. He's really approachable. He's like, always seems to be on the move. Like he's like, come into my office, do this or that. But then they end up
eating something.
Going to a bathroom. Like, he's eating yogurt in some parts. He's like at a swimming pool. He's a lifeguard there. And like, he's always kind of doing other stuff. But he's very approachable. He's knowledgeable and stuff. I can't place it, but I feel like this is a performance that Hoffman's probably done before because it just feels so natural. And I'm like, I feel like I've seen it before. It's good. Yeah. It's definitely good. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't want to say you're not going to, like there's other guys that can recreate this or anything, but yeah, it's about as good as you can get, I think.
Yeah, and like,
for that type of role.
I was talking about like how Maggie Gyllenhaal was a grounded character. He's a very grounded character as well too. Yeah. I'd say too, and he does his stand-up job as, like you said, this professor. And I like that he's this kind of, he probably, I don't know if he fully believes everything that Harold Crick is saying, but he goes along with it. He's a scholar, and he wants to try and help him out with the situation because it sounds like a novel, and he's very well versed in all types of books, literature. Yeah. And then like even at one point he says that he can't help him. He says, man. His last thing she said to me was, "Little did he know." I said, "Whoa, hold on a sec." He said, "Little did he know." I wrote 10 theses on whatever on Little Did He Know. So it's like, oh, right there, it's like a turning point for him. So now he's really interested in this the outcome of Harold Crick.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he's humoring him in the beginning. He's not really believing him. But like at that point, the little did he know point, he's like, okay, this is something that Harold shouldn't really know. He's bringing up, and it's so much information for him as a professor who studies this stuff. He's like, oh, now I have something to really go on because this is more than what he initially thought. But yeah. And the final one, Queen Latifah. So I will say I actually liked her performance here. Yeah. It's very good. It's, I don't know, it's not Latifah-esque, I guess.
And you're saying what I'm thinking too, because a lot of times I find Queen Latifah is so in your face. She's a lot louder, and she doesn't act so well. I would say she's not the greatest actress. She's very exaggerated, I guess.
Yeah. Here, she's muted from what you see otherwise.
Yeah, and she definitely does a good job of fitting in with the rest of the character.
But I don't feel like her character's necessary. That's the other thing. Like, did we need the assistant? Like, what does she really do in the movie?
She's just trying to drive the book forward, because there's from the publishing company.
Yeah,
they really want this book. I guess it could have been anybody in that role too.
In the end, they end up getting more time anyway. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they just needed someone for Emma Thompson to talk to.
That's probably it.
You could give her someone to work off of throughout the movie.
She's good. I just don't know if she's really that necessary of a character.
Yeah, but I agree. I think she's good, and I think this is probably one of her better performances that I'm familiar with, anyways.
So I guess we could just start going through the movie itself. Let me know, like, what do you think stands out?
So, like, right away at the very start of the movie, I love all the graphics that pop up in the movie. Like, because with Harold Crick, he's always calculating, he's always counting numbers, and you can see, like, as he's brushing, it's counting the brush strokes, and it shows that. And then even when he's doing like his tie, it says like a half Windsor tie or whatever, and it shows all the different calculations of how much time he saves with doing the certain tie or whatever he does. And when he's like walking across the street, you can see like the distance of the steps it is between each step.
Steps too.
Yeah, so I like that throughout the movie. It does that for everything that he's kind of thinking in his mind. Like even like the soap, the levels of soap that he's looking in the bathroom. You can see that. I love all that little extra nuance that is throughout the movie.
Yeah, I feel like that also ties in a little bit to the watch, because the watch is with him. Is that everything is set by his whole life is set by this thing. Yeah, and like the few times that something goes different for him. Like he breaks the mold or something goes crazy, his watch will just glitch out on him, and then like the bakery owner, this Anna, which is Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, she walks across the street from him, and his watch just goes nuts because she's like the anarchy thing, and the movie, I don't want to say centers around the watch in some ways, but it's definitely like a major part of like
it's a key part for his character.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a part of his character. It kind of defines that very efficient, by the numbers personality of his.
Yeah, he's so precise with everything.
Yeah, but something I alluded to when I was introducing this episode was like, how would you define this movie? Because that was something when we'll get to later that I was looking at what other people thought, and I was just like, what is this movie? If you were gonna say the genre.
So yeah, this is a genre that I'm in love with. Like, I love the types of movies where you have like these regular, normal, everyday characters, and then some sort of mystical, magical, sci-fi thing happens to just alter things a little bit. Like I'll say like the movie like Yesterday, when all of a sudden our character is aware of the Beatles, but the Beatles never existed to anybody else. I love that. Or even like Groundhog Day, where the guy's repeating the same day over and over. That kind of thing. I love this type of movie. I don't know. It's a comedy for sure. Is it a sci-fi? Is it? I don't know. It's definitely comedy though. But yeah, I don't know what you would categorize it. But I love this style of movie.
From what I looked up, it was like most of the like Wikipedia or IMDb, they were categorizing it as like comedy drama. Was always like the first two: comedy drama, fantasy, and then way at the end, like sometimes it didn't appear at all, but some of them were saying like romance. I'm like, there is romance in it, yeah, but if I was talking to someone, I would not call this a romance movie.
It does have romance in it, but it's not.
It's the C plot.
It is exactly. It is not the main part of the story.
I would even say, like I said, I don't think it's the first two. It's the C plot because it's really like before when we were talking about the actors. This movie ends up it being two stories because there's this like Harold Crick is definitely the A story.
Yeah,
his life and stuff's going on, but then there's Emma Thompson's character, Karen Eiffel, where she's working on this book and she's like, it's almost like artistry versus life, like because at the end there's kind of a sacrifice going on, but we're gonna be getting ahead of ourselves right there. But I feel like it's Emma Thompson or. First, Will Ferrell's character story, then Emma Thompson, and then you have this love story with Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's maybe the third one, but yeah, like
I've
seen a strange movie.
I've seen people compare it to Charlie Kaufman movies, which are like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and like Being John Malkovich, which are like those have like always like a strange kind of supernatural element to them as well too. And this definitely fits in that genre, I would say. It's not a Charlie Kaufman movie, but it feels kind of like one of those types of movies, I would say. Yeah.
I find this movie is, I feel like this is like the movie that someone made. They said, I did this movie for the studio and now I can make what I want to make. Mm-hmm. And they just went all in on being artistic. There's so much of this movie that I like for how it's done, like the way a shot is framed and stuff like that. Like even the dialogue when she's narrating, it's very thoughtful and elaborate, well-spoken words. And it's just like, it's not like Harold wound his watch. Harold looked at his watch and he grasped the whatever you call that thing. I can't do it. I can't do it. But it's so well done, and you're like, wow, there's a lot of thought that whoever was writing this put into it. And then like the shots, there's one of the earlier shots when Harold starts hearing the voices. He goes to the HR department because he's been telling some people about this, what he's hearing all the time, and like even the sound, because the first thing he does in the office is he's moving files in a folder and it makes the sound
of waves,
of sand on waves on the sand on a beach, and you can hear that's very good sound. You can I do kind of get that. I can understand what Harold's doing, but then he ends up in the HR department because he's someone reported what Harold was talking about. So, and that framing of that shot, we've got like the clouded wall behind him. Is such a nice shot. I love that. But
I was gonna say like a fun fact. I guess for a lot of the movie, he wore an earpiece, and Emma Thompson actually spoke to him, so he could actually hear what the narrating was. And so people's reaction would be kind of almost genuine because they wouldn't hear what he's hearing at the time, and so they wouldn't know what they're reacting to. So just reacting to what he's saying, basically.
Did you have like like deleted scenes on yours? Because mine, I looked to it and there's like 2, but they weren't.
I didn't.
Like
If I do it, I didn't look.
I was wondering where you got all that from.
No, I just look stuff up. I like this kind of info.
But yeah, and like there's another scene where he's on a bus, which Anna, the baker, gets on as well. But they're having the conversation on the bus. But the bus is like one of those longer buses that has like a flexible middle section.
Yeah.
And just I love the way that shot looks, where they're moving, but like they're having this conversation.
Yeah.
That's nice. Or there's a shot where they're at like the bakery and it's like raining and he's got to carry the stuff for her. And you see like they have a cupcake sign, but like the rain coming off of it and stuff. Like there's a lot of well done shots that just look so good to me.
Yeah, it is a beautifully shot movie, really. Like even like when he's in that long stretch where the 3 payphones are.
Yeah,
like it's very simple, but it's a beautifully shot just scene of him on the phone, and then he phones Emma Thompson from there.
And I think that kind of dates it. Well, a couple of things we already talked about kind of dates this movie as well. Like when his watch breaks at the bus stop, he asks someone else what time it is, and everyone's looking at their watches. Like no one like nowadays, if you did that, they're going to be pulling out their cell phones and stuff. And then he's at the office, and the phones are down.
Yeah.
And there's Dave, his friend at the office, who's Job from or not.
No. He's Buster from Arrested Development.
Sorry,
Tony Hale.
Yeah, he's there. But he's got a cell phone, but no service for it or something like that. But it's like, you know, in the modern world now, like everyone would have his phone with them. Yeah. But he ends up going down to a payphone.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd never
you're not going to find nowadays.
Yeah. So like that dates it. It's kind of like a quaint reminder of when this was taking place. Another little thing that kind of is throughout the movie that you notice is like there's 2 characters that don't really have any interaction with our main characters in a meaningful way. But there's like a little boy on a bike that you see, and
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah,
this black woman who is getting a job. Like you don't know really what she's doing at first, other than she's looking through newspaper wanted ads.
Yeah.
Then she goes to like the job interview and stuff like that, and they have a through line through the whole movie because there always seems to be involved in these scenarios that Emma Thompson's character is thinking up for an accident that occurs that the kid cuts off a bus or something, and then it turns and this car drives off a bridge into the water. But that didn't really happen. It was just Emma Thompson.
It was her imagining herself in the car driving off the bridge. Yeah. Like I said, it's seemed like you don't really know what they're alluding to with this kid on the bike and this woman that's getting this new job. You're not sure what it is until the reveal at the very end. Yeah.
Like you were saying before about Harold and Anna, they are kind of opposites. Like that's something that I kind of look at, like opposites attract kind of thing, where they're both like order and chaos is how I kind of looked at it. But
true.
It's when they start breaking each other's molds to go with it that they kind of get together. And I find by the end of the movie, there's a lot of characters that kind of go against what they were doing. So I gotta cut to the end here. But like, so Harold, obviously, he kind of goes against the IRS. Like he breaks some rules and stuff. Like,
well, like looking up Emma Thompson herself, her character, where she's from.
When he tells like,
we're gonna contact
Anna,
her.
I want you. Like, isn't that something to do with like no fraternization? He's like, yeah, I know it's the whatever rule in the book, but I don't care. And he goes against her. Then when he's at the hospital with Anna, because Anna didn't want to go give any money to the government or whatever, and he tells her like, well, all that stuff you give away, you can write it off as charity, which will cover the amount that you owe. She's like, no, it's not about that. He's like, yeah, but it's about keeping you out of jail, and as long as you're out of jail, you're doing good things. So this is for the greater good. So she goes and she abides by the laws to do that. And even Karen Eiffel, the author, that she doesn't kill a character. She stops killing characters. She might stop smoking. We get that hint that it's a proposition to her. Yeah. So that was something where like all these characters did something a little bit different. A couple of things I just noted here that I really liked was the dozen flowers. I thought that was clever.
Yeah, all the different flowers in the box.
If you were dating a baker, that's what you got to do. Or there's just another scene where he's at Dave's apartment, but like the elevator goes up and it's got this weird oval, narrow windows. I like that. It's another shot I just liked.
Did you notice when you turned the light on in his room, it was like Star Trek, like sound like when they like open the doors
In his room or in Dave's?
In Dave's.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No.
when you like turned the light on, it like did like I think when the doors open, I think in Star Trek sound.
Oh. Another thing I really liked was the part where he's playing the guitar for Anna, and she hears it and she comes in and they end up making up. But like he's playing by Reckless Eric, When I Was a Young Boy. I can't remember this. I'm trying to remember the title of the song. The Whole Wide World.
The whole wide world.
Yeah. But like, so he's playing it, and he's kind of just he's a beginner, an amateur guitar player.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just a little, I would say shy, a little bit stage fright, and he's kind of just doing it quietly, singing it. And she comes over, but as soon as she starts kissing, that the music kicks really loud. Like I like that turn.
Yeah.
But one thing that the same I have a little negative thing for that is that I wish we would have got a scene like her listening to it earlier, like maybe by herself, where it had some meaning. Because all you get is she comes out of the kitchen when hearing him play. She stands off to the side for a moment where you see her mouthing the words. So you're like, oh, she knows the song too. But somehow that just set her off. It's like, really? All you got to do is know one song that a woman knows? Maybe it's her favorite. I don't know. And she'll just start making out with you.
I think also the fact that he was willing to play the guitar, even though he knows he's not good at it. He's just showing.
He knows the one song he's been playing.
He's just showing a side to him that it's vulnerability. I think is what it was. He's showing that, and she appreciated that.
Yeah, but I have like a few like nitpick things that still like. So the question is like, is her writing the story what makes it happen? Or is it like a magic typewriter kind of situation? Because she writes out a draft of how Harold will die because she's been stuck trying to think of the end.
It seems to be like every time she hits period, like that happens.
Yeah, and like so she writes she writes a rough draft on legal paper, and that's when she meets Harold, and then she's got to like debate whether or not like am I going to do this? And they ultimately leave it up to Harold to read it and agree or not to agree.
Yeah,
but he hands it off because he's just and also stressed or whatever. He hands it off to the professor, Dustin Hoffman's character, to read. And one thing they specifically said is like, oh, I wrote the ending, but it's not typed. But when Dustin Hoffman's reading it in his place, you can see it's typed print on this final pages. So I was like, why is it typed?
Well,
there?
it might have been up to a certain point that it was typed out, though. I'm guessing.
Maybe.
That's what I'm assuming. Like, up until the point that she knew that this was happening.
It certainly
started
looked like he was finished when like the way that they presented it, like he was on the last pages of it. And the other thing was like Karen Eiffel was surprised that Harold read her manuscript so quickly or whatever. But it's like, well, we know that Harold got it from her. Then he tried to read it himself, but he couldn't, so he gave it to Hoffman to read, which we can see he reads throughout the night. So one day has passed, and then Harold reads it all in one sitting on the bus, which is another day that passes. But she's like, "Oh, you read it?" Like she's surprised that he read it already, and it's like, I don't know, 2 days. If my life was on the line, I'd probably read a book that fast.
So mine, I don't know if this is a nitpick or not, but I was just wondering, what are the dynamics of it? Because she's writing a book, and at one point she's writing that the phone rings. So as him calling her. So in her book, who was he supposed to be calling?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how does that really make any sense, or is that kind of not a mistake, but I think there's kind of maybe
Well, it doesn't.
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't follow up.
Yeah, it doesn't like who is he calling? She's typing that he's calling somebody. I mean, it's a cool scene because she says the phone rings, hits type period, and then her phone literally rings, and then she does it again, and it rings again, and then she
starts freaking out.
Yeah, she waits for the next one.
Don't answer, and then it stops ringing.
Yeah. So I'm just like, who was he phoning in the book?
Yeah.
Then, because I don't think she had him calling her in the book, so that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. Like unless it was just like from his it's not really from his perspective. It's third person omniscient, but she's like he made a phone call and he got some very bad news or pleasant news, but they don't elaborate more. But we don't ever see. We don't really know. Like you said, like it's weird. Like so, how she wrote that Harold was calling her, but also you don't hear the voice when he goes to like IRS to find her her address and stuff. Like, she didn't write about him finding her phone number and address at the IRS, but she knows that he's making a call to someone. It's just, yeah, like you said, how far does that go, that rabbit hole?
Yeah, and I think you could probably do that with other things in the movie too. That probably doesn't make much sense, but it looks cool and it advances the story, so that's why they did it.
So then, I gotta say, to me, well, I ask you first, I guess, like, what is, like, the movie about? Other than, like, is there a moral to it? Is there a message to it? Because I feel like there is one, but...
I think stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the messages, because you see that with Harold Crick, because he is in his comfort zone for the first bit of the movie, and then once he learns about his death, basically, or actually even when he meets Maggie Gyllenhaal, these things change his life drastically.
Yeah.
And for the better, I would say, because he didn't really have a life before that. It was just him going to work and coming back home.
It made his life so depressing in the beginning.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I picked up, because at the end, they really make it a kind of like a philosophical debate about, you know, they wrote the story and he's going to die, and like, is there any way you change it? It's like, nope, it's perfect. And it's kind of like, how much is life valued next to art? Mm-hmm. And it's like, is a great art worth sacrificing one person's life? Which is kind of part of the story.
Yeah, and they were even in agreement. Even Harold himself was in agreement.
Harold,
he had to die.
He was the one that was, you know, he could have just ripped that up. He could have done whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have written it again, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, and they ultimately kind of go with it. Although, you could say that Karen Eiffel's character says, no, it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. And she changes the story. And it's not as good. It's just not as good. And she makes, what she say, that if someone like Harold, like that, it would be too bad to let him die. It's better if he, you know, we get to see these characters move on.
Yeah.
So like that was a question. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I like art, but how many? She doesn't seem that popular. Like, yes, she's popular, but it's not like everyone knows.
It's not like a Stephen King where you see him, you know who this guy is.
You have to read Stephen King, but you'll be like, oh, I know who Stephen King is. He writes his horror books. Yeah. Where here it's like, you know, Harold Crick didn't know who he was.
No.
Like, no one's knowing who she is. So it's like, the biggest her book's gonna blow up would be what?
Well, I think she said she's written 8 books where she killed people.
Oh, yeah.
So she's only had like 8 prior books where she's killed people, and that's her whole thing. So she's not like a huge novelist. Like, she doesn't have hundreds or even dozens.
But like, even if it was like, you know, is a Sistine Chapel worth killing someone? I'd be like, no, I don't think so.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that is kind of what I had for the movie. If you have any more notes?
Just another standout scene. I liked when Dustin Hoffman told him to like stay at home, you know, do nothing and let the story find you. And it finds it. Like, he's just sitting at home, just watching like National Geographic videos. Basically, he doesn't even leave the couch to pee. Like, he stays.
Well, that's I wonder. Like, what counts as not doing anything? Is watching TV that?
He doesn't even go get his mail from the mail slot.
But he doesn't pee. But he has like a bowl of cereal or something he's eating. It's like, okay, but you're eating. Is that something?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't get up to pee. To me, that's just the opposite end of that same process you put yourself through.
And then like the arm comes in, like a big excavator arm or whatever, comes and destroys part of his room and almost kills him right there. He's like terrified. It's like the plot found him. He's got to get out of there now. He can't stay at home.
I like how argumentative those construction workers were. Immediately they're argumentative. What are you doing there? I'm just sitting here watching my TV. But it's like, why are you in there? This is where I live.
Yeah.
Is that a TV? Yeah, I was watching it. It's like, who are you? I'm Harold Crick, apartment, blah, blah, blah. Someone, whatever street address.
1890, whatever.
And he's like, oh.
1890? Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Like, but they're so argumentative, they never even, like, they won't question their own work. There's got to be other people living in there, too.
Exactly.
It's an apartment.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And that reminds me, there's another shot where, because that corner of his house, now that's demolished, they had that plastic wrap, and there's a nice scene where he puts his toes just over the edge of the brick face, and like, I like that shot too. Yeah. Like, I felt like this movie was all about the artistry. Like, they really went.
Well, speaking of art, like, I know there's even one scene where he has the green apple in his mouth, and that's obviously a famous painting of like, I don't know who it is. The Birth of Man or something of Adam. I can't remember what it is. I know the one you're talking about. He's got like a bowler hat. Yeah.
You can't see his face.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah, so that was obviously just like an homage to that, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more scenes in this movie that
I don't think I have it in this one. Yeah, the DVD has a
Oh, it's an apple.
Is an apple.
Which Blu-ray too?
I was a little bit disappointed because it doesn't really
Mine isn't.
factor in that much to the movie. Like,
No.
yeah, he has it in the movie, in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then at the
It's
end.
not a plot device. It's just he has an apple every once in a while.
And we should say, yeah, his whole death was that kid on the bike, the black woman was looking for a job and ended up becoming a bus driver.
Yeah.
And when he's at the bus stop, the kid on the bike falls into the street, and he rushes in to save him.
Yeah.
And he picks him up, but he gets hit by the bus himself.
Yeah.
And his watch, which he had with him the whole time, gets broken too.
Yeah.
Like, he was gonna die from an artery that got severed in one of his arms because he broke like his leg, his arms, his head.
Yeah, a whole bunch of bodies and casts.
And he would have bled out, but his watch, a piece of his watch, was stuck in his arm, and it's actually slowed down the bleeding. So he's like, "You should have died."
Yeah,
but,
I thought that was actually pretty smart writing on her part for not for a way to not kill him. I thought that was actually pretty ingenious, but it was also like a cop out.
if I read the book, maybe I would have a different opinion. But yeah, I think that's pretty clever. Like, or if they he died for 6 minutes and then they resuscitated him, like that would have been another way to do it. Like, yeah, he did die, but
yeah, and they didn't mention like earlier in the movie like he got the time from somebody because he had to adjust his watch. And he gave him a time that was like 3 minutes too slow or something like that. So he was off time the rest of the movie.
which is a good nice setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're still watching again.
But you have a review for this one, like your score.
Yeah, I really liked this movie back when I saw it. Watching it again yesterday, I liked it. I think I liked it even more. Like I found more nuance to it. I found more things to like about it. It's not just about this guy who hears about his fate. There's a lot more characterization to it, and I think I went from an 8.0 to like a 9.0. I think it's a 9.0 movie for me.
Yeah, I agree with you that I bought this movie and I watched it probably twice, maybe a little bit more, and I kind of forgot about it, like how good it was. And then watching it now for this review, I was like, wow, this is a really good movie. I should watch more often. I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like it should be a 9 out of there. I feel like maybe I was a little bit biased because I was like, the relationship he has with Maggie Gyllenhaal, like, yeah, that's a kind of like on a personal level, like that's the kind of thing I would look for. So like maybe that's just because it's me and I want like an anarchist. Yeah. But the reason it's not a 10 is like it's kind of mundane in a way. I don't know, like the stakes are never really huge. I don't know. I just feel like there's some oomph or something to it. Even the love story, it's not like as dramatic as it's like Sleepless in Seattle or something. I don't know. Like they don't really have any big pushback or blowback. It's like she doesn't really like him, and then she likes him, and they're together.
There was the one scene kind of when she made him some cookies, where it's like she was showing like her appreciation of him at that time, and he didn't get it. He was like, "I'll buy them off. I'll buy them." He's like, "No, don't bother." Yeah. Didn't realize she made the cookies specifically for him, and they weren't just some cookies that she had.
But even then, he kind of like shows like a realization, like you were doing that to be nice. You stayed and baked this for me, and I just ruined it. It's like, you know,
and then after that, they kind of blossomed after that.
Yeah, but it's never like so big and like a big blow up or anything. Like everything is just kind of mild because it's not really about these big moments. It's just about this death that's in the room with him the whole time, and he knows it's coming.
Yeah, it's lingering.
And it's just going through life with it. So it just kind of misses that, I don't know, the extra gravitas, I guess. But it's good nonetheless. Like I give it a 9.
But now that we've reviewed it, we like to do something called the good, the bad, and the ugly. And good and bad is pretty obvious what it means, something you like, something you didn't like so much. And then the ugly can be just anything that maybe stood out. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It can just be something that you thought maybe didn't fit, or maybe it fit and you just thought, that's kind of neat, sort of thing. So what would you say was something good?
Good?
Like,
Emma Thompson's character, I think that was a standout. Yeah. Even though like the other ones were good, like great and good, she was very like standout. Not only just she didn't do the role just well, but just like I think that I don't know if there was directions on the eccentricities, but that like how she kind of did, like she always has a little bit of a shake to her and stuff, and all that, like the way she's acting in a room when she's with someone, it all just seemed very like extra for the character, where like Harold is a little bit just by the numbers kind of guy, but you know he doesn't really go outside of that his box. Like everyone's very much in their box, and Emma Thompson's the one that's like putting this little twist on her character was like, ooh, that's a little extra.
Yeah.
So Emma Thompson was one of the goods I had. I had two more, but they kind of fall into the artistry of it. So I had like the framing, which I mentioned, like so many different scenes they had. Like I love how this movie looks at so many different times. It's just, it's nice to look at. I love in any movie when they have shots that are just like creative and different. Like there's even one point where he's like, in the beginning, when he finds out he's going to die for the first time, he goes back and starts yelling at his toothbrush and stuff. But he goes and he yells like even in the shower because he doesn't know where this voice is coming from.
Yeah.
But you see it from inside the shower looking at him like, that's a nice perspective. Like I like that they took all these artistic chances and stuff because it really created unique looks. And like along with the artistry was the dialogue, like how the narrator talks and even Dustin Hoffman, his way of speaking is very knowledgeable, smart dialogue that he has to share. So I loved that too. It was very well done. It really brought you into this story that's being told.
I feel like it's smartly written. I feel smart having watched this movie. You know, I do. Was that if your goods?
That's my goods. Yeah.
So yeah, my favorite good was probably Emma Thompson as well too. Actually, I'll say specifically, I loved hearing her narration, and even his reactions to the narration. I thought was hilarious. So my favorite. Emma Thompson, just in general, was probably my favorite part of the movie. Just
better than her Harry Potter character?
Yeah, better than her Harry Potter character. She didn't have the big googly eyes. I really do like Emma Thompson in pretty much everything I've seen her in. But this is one of those eccentric, cool characters that I really enjoy seeing. And she stands out as one of the best things, for sure. What's something that's maybe bad?
So you mentioned them, those visual overlays in the beginning where it like shows like how far he's walking, his brush strokes and everything. Those are featured fairly heavily in the beginning for the first half, and then it just drops off to nothing. And that was kind of like, they went in so hard, like everything, like he's standing in the bathroom, it's showing like the tiles, and it's showing Dustin Hoffman slides the coffee over to him, and you see like the distance that the coffee slid on the tiles and all this. But by the end of it, there's not really anything.
I think the reasoning for that is because of his change in character. I think he's not being so calculated anymore. So before, it was just him calculating math, everything. He was always checking everything, counting all the tiles, checking the soaps and all that stuff. Whereas now that he's found something that he loves, and he's no longer worried about, or he's still worried about his death and all. His mind is being there's other things in it going on. He's not thinking about calculating anymore. That's why I think, because I noticed that too. It was a lot more in the beginning of the movie.
I never thought of it that way. I just thought it was like they forgot, they got lazy or something. So that was my bad. But when you put it that way, like
because what it is, it was him. It was always his calculations is what it was. Even when he gets off the bus stop at the wrong spot, he's thinking about how far he has to walk now. He's at 27 blocks.
Map and
so I think that's what it is. That's my understanding, anyways. That's why I think it is there. So for me, bad. I don't even want to say this is bad, but I think maybe it could have been just a little bit shorter, maybe like 10 minutes shorter. I do think it's a little bit longer than it needs to be, but I don't know what you would cut out. That's the thing. I don't know what you would, because I do like pretty much every scene, and almost every scene seems necessary. Just maybe there was a little bit of fat, like maybe, like you said, maybe we didn't need to have Queen Latifah's character.
Or you could have even his Dave. Do you need his friend Dave? Like that was something.
Maybe.
Like then you wouldn't have the part where it shows him going to a camp, space camp, and all that stuff.
But
Is that necessary?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you didn't need that, but I still enjoyed it. I don't know what I would trim. I just thought it was it's almost a 2-hour movie. For a comedy, it's a little bit long for a comedy.
Although that Dave stuff would show like Harold wasn't just thinking about himself. Like when he was tying up all the ends of his life, he went out of his way to do this thing for Dave, which what did he get out of it? Like you could say he talked to Anna and spent the night with her and stuff, and that was all because he cared about her because they were in a relationship and stuff. Yeah. But Dave was just a guy that, I don't know. I also think Dave was the one that ratted him out to HR. He's like, people are talking or whatever. And it's like, who else? He got the math wrong for that one equation because the voice was talking at the same time. Was they're complaining about that? Like,
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it maybe was a little bit long, but I don't know what you would cut. I don't have any notes to what you would cut because it is pretty tight, the movie.
Yeah.
And then ugly, anything that stands out is questionable or just strange or just doesn't have to be bad.
No, nothing. Like, I really like this movie. It's hard to pick up something that I didn't like because there wasn't. So
it's not.
Even,
You don't have to be didn't like.
Even distracting. Like, there was nothing that I really found distracting me. I don't know. I guess that maybe that one guy in the bakery who's obviously not all there mentally.
Yeah, he's got something wrong with him mentally.
And he kind of shows up, and it's like, okay, it almost feels like he's like a comedic thing, but doesn't really go all in. He doesn't really play any role besides from being this crazy guy.
I think it shows that she doesn't mind who comes into her store. Anybody can be in her store, sort of thing.
Yeah. But it's just, a little distracting that way. He just feels like a little bit too eccentric of a character. But I mean, I guess there are those people in the world, but yeah, it distracted me.
So mine, it's not a bad thing. I'm just like curious. When Harold is at Dave's place and they're having a meal, I don't know what the hell is on their plates. I don't know what that food is. It looked like there was this white.
I thought I saw some Brussels sprouts.
I don't know. They didn't look like Brussels sprouts.
There was some green balls on there.
There was almost like meatballs is one of them things. And there were like these almost like these tube-shaped things that almost looked like beans, but I don't think they were beans. They were like too long and thick for beans. And then on his plate was like this white thing with like these like sprouts coming out of it, almost like mushrooms. I'm like, what are they eating? This does not look like human food. It looks like something from space, which goes with his Star Trek sounding doorway, but I don't know. It stood out to me as something weird that they were eating. I even have a picture of it.
I remember it. I have to watch it again and be like, what is that?
I'll see if I could get it. I know it's like, if you're like, what the hell's on his plate? What is that?
I don't know.
And then
I think those are green beans on the side.
Like those.
I've seen something like that. Is it okra?
I like the purple stuff.
I've seen.
I don't know. I just thought it stood out for me because it's something like different. It's a weird looking food.
When I saw it, just like these guys just bachelors making the most basic shit.
I don't think that's basic. That looks.
It's just like plants. It's like,
yeah, but it's like
I don't think beans are hard.
I don't know. How do you prepare that? That looks like something from space. I don't know. It just stood up as a little weird thing for me.
So now we got our takes on the movie. We're gonna look at some other people's takes. So if you were with us last time, I kind of went with looking at the critics on Metacritic, what they thought. These are the pro reviews, and I'm surprised that like I kind of tried to go high and low, but mostly it was just like whatever I thought had a review that I could at least understand, like their viewpoint that they were coming from. So there is a high and a low, and it's kind of something in the middle. But there really wasn't that high of highs, which I was surprised about.
Really?
For what you and I rented.
Oh, really?
I think I'd have to look again, but this is the highest one I saw. Because there was a couple tied. Maybe it rolls up a little bit higher, but Rolling Stone. This is a Ferrell you've never seen before, nailing a role that calls for breakneck humor in the final race against the clock and touching gravity in the love scenes with Gyllenhaal. 75 out of 100. So that seems like a very, like it is, yeah.
It's giving it a glowing review, but the number doesn't seem to match what they're saying.
It is a Ferrell you've never seen before, but maybe you could say that's a bad thing?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He said he nails the role, though, so...
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
I think maybe it was a little bit higher for an 80 with someone, but I didn't really like... Well, what they said just felt not as informative, I guess. So, Variety, which I think I had a Variety for our previous review of Roger Rabbit, so I wanted to keep something from them.
Sure.
Variety sometimes becomes too self-consciously clever, and it doesn't entirely resolve its own central dilemma, but it remains inventive and funny to the end, features fine performances from Will Ferrell, and especially Emma Thompson. So Emma Thompson and the Will Ferrell, he was good too, out of character.
Yeah.
But doesn't entirely resolve its own central dilemma, which I was like, I don't know what they want else.
Pretty sure it does.
It was a score of 70 out of 100.
Interesting.
Too self-consciously clever. I'm like, I don't know. It is clever. It is definitely clever. Is it?
Yeah, that's what's great about it.
I never felt like it was over my head.
No.
I understood what they're talking about. The Washington Post. This is one of the lower ones. There's a problem. This romance isn't developed enough to be truly satisfying. It's fat-free snack wells when you want Godiva. It's not the original story we signed up for, or thought we did.
So they're complaining because it's not enough of a romance.
And that's what a lot of them, the negative side, was like this romance is not very thought out and stuff.
And to you and me, like we said, it was B or C plot. Like it wasn't even the main part of the story.
I would say the biggest gripes that I saw people on their reviews have was romance, and this isn't the Ferrell that I wanted. Like I thought Ferrell was going to be over the top, whatever, and he's subtle in this role. It's like, okay, it's my problem with reviews is a lot of people will be like, this is what I expected it to be, and it wasn't. It's like, yeah, but what is the movie itself?
Yeah.
On its own terms.
If you could take that out of the picture, then what? Yeah, what is it actually?
So that was a 50 out of 100, in case I didn't say before.
Okay. I do Letterboxd. Check me out on Letterboxd. I'm CountryBoy_9. I do my own reviews as well too. So I like to sometimes read people's reviews, good and bad. I'll start with a bad one. This is a 5-star review. Will Ferrell, drained of all charisma, meets a half-baked magic pixie girl and an insufferable writer in this dumbly presentuous dramedy minus the comedy. Wow. Okay. Good for you. I think you kind of missed some of the points of the movie there.
But I would say, like, with Will Ferrell's performance, like, it is pretty much, straight. He's a straight man.
Yeah.
Against his character.
Exactly.
But there are those flashes where he starts yelling into the sky, and it's like, it reminds me of, like, when he's auditioning for SNL, he's like, get off the dang roof, when he's acting normal, and then he goes and does a shot.
Anybody want a burger? Who wants a burger? These are just about done here. Get off the goddamn shed! Off the shed! We got hot dogs too if you want.
It's there, but it's not like, a joke a minute like he used to.
A lot of the humor is his reactions to what's happening around him or what he's hearing. That's the humor, not him himself being bombastic and out there. Then I'll read a couple of 5-star reviews. I think this movie influenced me to make a new list. Movies that weren't made by Charlie Kaufman but may as well have been, which is what we mentioned earlier. This is a compliment. This was another film my therapist recommended. She's got good taste sometimes. Okay.
Therapist recommended.
I'm glad you're going to therapy. You're getting the help you need. And then this last one is a really short one. It says, Will Ferrell should have won an Oscar. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, for his performances, this is probably his closest to an Oscar-worthy performance, maybe. I don't know.
That I've seen.
And probably for me too, because everything else is very samey for Will Ferrell.
It's no Holmes and Watson, but
have you seen Holmes and Watson?
No, that could be on our list.
Oh man, well, we can do.
We can do some bad ones.
We can do a month of bad movies if we want to do that. We can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be next month.
Yeah, so we will have a theme next month. So
we will have a theme. We'll announce it right when it comes out. We can put it on the channel.
Yeah, we put it on our channel, and yeah, maybe I'll even do like an X or a Twitter channel for us or something. You can go ahead and check it out there. Maybe something. Who knows?
But yeah, that was Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get both of our recommendations if you want to check it out yourself. We couldn't find it on streaming. That was one thing we were talking about earlier.
Not right now.
Couldn't find it streaming right now. Yeah. But I'm sure you could find it online for like $7 on DVD.
You can probably find it for $5 in a bargain bin too, honestly.
Yeah.
It's usually in a bargain bin somewhere.
But where can they find you at?
You can find me, like I said, on Letterboxd and a bunch of different places as CountryBoy_9, or you can find me a bunch of different places as CountryBoy9er, like right here on YouTube, where I unbox a whole bunch of different stuff. Check me out.
And you can find me on YouTube as well as The LewisLightning. That's one word. You can also use The LewisLightning on Twitch, and you can find me streaming various video games. I play an eclectic sort of thing, so I don't know what I'll be playing anytime soon. But you can find both of us on Wasted Opinions, which is another show where we sit and chat about stuff with our third amigo. Yeah. And it can be movies, but it can also be music, video games, TV shows, whatever. It's a whole gambit. And sometimes it's not even that. It's outside of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out as well. And set your watches for the next episode.
23 minutes slow. This is what I suspected. I think it's 2006 because I think I
should have looked at it before you.
I wrote it down. Yeah, 2006.